Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's the 2024 Chiang Mai Open at the beautiful Lanna Rocks Garden just outside of Chiang Mai. Shasta Criss is on the card. He had hot round in the opening round. Trevor Harbolt is joining us. Teemu Jönkkäri will be on the card, and Thailand's own Pichet Panturat will be rounding out the card. Round 1 was not recorded, but I've got rounds 2 and 3 all ready to go for you. I'd stay away from that guy. I think we see him later in the course. But we start off on hole 1. Really basic backhand righty hyzer if you've got it. Some players will go a little higher, some will go lower, but there's plenty of room on this right side. Grass and ground a little bit firm, so certainly can skip to the pin. Or if you want to go with a forehand up the left side, that certainly works as well. Shasta shot a 13 under in round 1, so we're starting off 24 hours later for round 2. Anything near those rocks is a pretty good sign. You see him come up just short. Here's Teemu Jönkkäri. Also shot a 13 under. Came into the event with a 943 rating. Trevor Harbolt experiencing Thailand for his first time. Just spent the previous weekend over in Samui. Had a good time there. He shot 12 under. And Pichet, who now you've seen a couple of times on coverage. Shows us the lefty route. Jönkkäri gets caught up by one of the final trees. He's about 2 meters tall, so he's got plenty of leverage there. Not able to convert. I am honored to be bringing you guys footage from this incredible piece of property. We've seen the likes of Paige Pierce and Nate Perkins and Conrad and some of the others that have been there and have experienced this property in covering the event last year. I only got the final round that was played ultimately over at Gymkhana, which is a course located much closer to town, but this course has quickly jumped out as one of the top courses in Thailand. I know there's only a dozen or so, but this is one that everybody has to get to. This is on your bucket list. It's just a fun course to play. Couple of birdies, and now Jönkkäri is in. And we'll make the walk over to hole number 2. Beautiful artwork by our Chiang Mai club. 2 is pretty straightforward. You basically just want to avoid the creek that's on the right-hand side. 305, I'm not sure it even plays quite that far. Pichet has it dialed in. Trevor entered the event with a 998 rating. Shasta, 998. And Shasta goes just deep. And Pichet with a 969 rating. Just to give you guys some ideas. Full faith and commitment. Going with an Anheuser out and around, but just the right angle. And that's actually going to stay in bounds.
Yeah, brand new one.
What a pot. up into the left side of where we see Shasta putting, kind of on that ridge, is actually where we're going to see a tee in a few holes. We'll go out and play hole 3 and 4 and then kind of come back. So it runs somewhat perpendicular. I think we'll see that in the drone preview, but just trying to give a little lay of the land. Spoiler alert, you've probably already seen Shasta take down the Samui Swine the weekend before. Thailand disc golf is growing, and it's so awesome to see so many competitors show up from around the world. Nice and easy for Trevor. Pichet also making it look easy as you see the short tee placement there. We just saw those rocks with the blue 3s on them. Those are for the shorter tees. All right, well, this hole is a lot more wooded and smaller angle than what these guys are making it look like. So far, 3 clean shots. Well, let's make it 4. Trevor has a comeback look for it as I sort on our PDGA stats, and Trevor doesn't quite get it to stick. We see that this actually played as the second most difficult hole on the course. And now we've seen what will be 2 pars. There were still 38% of the field with birdies, but picked up a couple bogeys and double bogeys out here overall. Like I said, we also saw 4 clean shots, which very few groups did that. I can promise you as much. Shasta will get back to a share of the lead as they'll head over to the 4th hole. Big thanks to our friends at Discraft who have stepped up. I think both Discraft and DGA, in regard to this event, have really been large supporters and sponsors. Shasta with a little forehand action. That's going to be just about parked. I'll give you guys a few more drone previews as the course goes on, but that works as a preview in itself. And I'll just throw it out there now that 2025 is shaping up to have a similar format when you talk about going over and playing in Thailand, meaning first will be the Samui Swine, where it has 6 full days of, a great shot by Pichet, 6 full days of competition, 3 for the AMs, then 3 for the pros. And then a week later, everybody will be going to Chiang Mai and then playing in this event as well. Nice shot by Shasta. I think we're going to see a little change up in some new courses and whatnot as we head into 2025. As I mentioned earlier, the scene is developing, opportunities continue to come up, new courses, new partnerships, all of those types of things. But look for the Samui Swine at the end of January, and then likely the very next week is when we'll see the Chiang Mai Open. Plenty of crossover of players, as you can imagine. But some people just come for one or the other. That's cool, too. A little star frame action. That averaged 2.46 for the division. Teeing off on 5, you go over the creek. So we're not too far, as you see the double Mandos. The double Mandos there. We're not too far from hole 2's basket, but you go through the double Mandos, then you're slowly coming up this hill, try not to run the drone into it, and then you're putting on this hillside, which, as you can imagine, can be a little bit treacherous. A shorter par 4 at 531 feet. obviously it's all about beating the Mando trees. You do have a second Mando. You see up there on the left side, there is a Mando that you must go to the right of that final tree as well. So that just means Shasta, from where he's at, will have to throw a hyzer, which is probably the line he'd want to take anyway. Again, even being off on that left side, I mean, only if he got 50 more feet would it matter. And we're out here sharing property. Should I say, we're actually blessed to be on the property that is owned by a Hmong community. And I think we'll see them throughout the weekend. But really, it's a collaboration and a partnership with them for this course to even be here as we watch Pichet miss the Mando. I'd love to see the backhand there. He almost misses the next Mando. Just thinking a backhand, it hopefully pumps him through the gap and then finishes up and to the right, giving him a better look at saving the par. But you have a long downhill putt. Bless me. I just sneezed. I couldn't hold it in any longer. A little bit of dust getting kicked up out there. Pretty much textbook. I mean, Trevor's going to have the same line, just considerably closer. And an even better approach. Gets it to sit on the hillside, obviously crucial. We're going to see this hillside come into play quite a bit the next few holes. Light work for Trevor. Momentarily tied up at 16 under with the other co-leaders, but Shasta's going to also convert. He's going to move to 17. Little mini confusion there. And Pichet will drop in for the bogey. So losing 2 to Shasta and Trevor. Big thanks to our friends at Singapore Disc Golf. We got a chance to play in Singapore before heading into Thailand over to Samui. So Lance and the rest of the crew, just incredible. And love to see how that's continuing to grow and hopefully develop. As we roll up this ridge line, a couple of casuals out here taking in the action, non-tournament players that were just checking things out. 240 slightly uphill, obviously angle so critical as that's going to be on the high right side. He'll have good footing, but a very dangerous putt. I like the line here by Trevor. Not quite enough power for the standstill. It's 240. I'm going to say it plays at least 280. 275, 280, somewhere in that neighborhood. You got to put a little bit of a move on it. It's a gradual uphill the whole way. Pichet is a maker of many baskets that are appearing in Thailand. He owns a shop and then also makes baskets as part of that. That obviously wasn't part of his business plan just a number of years ago, but now I think is probably the premier basket maker in Thailand and a few of the countries surrounding. Also, just an incredible guy. Trevor's had looks on every hole so far, converting on 4 of the 6. You see the shake of the head.
Thank you.
A little bit dangerous. And actually, it's easier to get to the next tee if he's already up there, so they're going to retrieve the putter for him. So Shasta opens 5 for 6, only missing hole 1 so far. Feels like he's trying to pull away from these guys. And a big thanks to our friends at Flying Plate. Saw them supporting us over in Samui and also here. Looking forward to seeing them in 2025. Also got to see them in Finland and beyond. Some pretty cool merch. I've got myself a Flying Plate hat that I love. We're going downhill, hole 7, 276. Such a fun shot. Yes, if you have an overhand, not a bad time for it. Just so you can be pinpoint accurate, you're not worried necessarily about a fade or possibly putting too much angle on it. Oh, I love the play there. A little forehand action. You can see just a little bit of wind. Currently Saturday afternoon. Early February. From the hotel, took me about 25, maybe 30 minutes on a motorbike, on a scooter, which, as you all know, if you've been here for a minute, you know that that's one of my favorite parts about traveling to Thailand is all the scooter time that you get. Lots of people, though. Trevor goes up and over. Plenty of people will arrange for some kind of Grab or taxi or their version of Uber. People will carpool in that sense. It makes perfect sense as well if you're not up for the scooter adventure. Shasta to keep it rolling. Yes. Shasta getting the last 6 in a row. Pichet to answer. Not enough. So Shasta again trying to pull away from the card. We'll see if Jönkkäri answers. He does, though. And in future years, go ahead and mark my words. Let's get some Thai commentary on this action as well. A little bit more difficult to coordinate, but we've got connections. Aaron and crew. I know there's a way we can make it happen, so I'd like to see, or hear, should I say, some Thai commentary in addition to English commentary. We'll make that happen one way or another. As we head up the hill now. So the hill we just basically came down. We're going to turn around and kind of go straight back up after I bounce it off the ground. 177. Probably at least 225, maybe 250 in terms of effective throw. Gonna put a little juice on it, just like Shasta.
Be okay.
All about keeping it clean, so even if you do hit something up on the top, it doesn't find a leaf or a stalk or something to hit and then catch edge and roll back at us.
Yeah, Pichet.
Yeah.
There he is.
Seven in a row. Remember, it was a circle's edge putt that he opened with and that he wasn't able to convert on. Maybe shallow circle too, but everything since hole 1, Shasta has collected for birdie. Trevor gets that to drop. And the danger of coming up short is having a little more hill to deal with. Sometimes awkward footing, but as you can see, short range, not a problem. Well, okay, maybe a little bit. Wow, that's not a very far distance, just a handful of steps. Makes note, though, of the elevation that we're playing with, and they'll walk away with a star frame. So just one hole left to play in the front 9. And as of right now, we're seeing Shasta get the work done. And big thanks to all my Patreon supporters. If there is a round of golf that is Patreon supported, this is the definition of it. Not a lot of other sponsorship and opportunity comes along to be able to support, especially with some of our international coverage. So it's really the Patreon supporters that come in big time to be able to help with this. Barely in bounds. I'm standing just behind the basket as they come back down. That's a good tree for Trevor. All right, so give me your initial reaction to what you're seeing here on this track, the Lanna Rocks Garden track. As we're just about 9 holes through, and that barely slides out of bounds for Pichet. Elevation, I feel like on almost every hole except for 3 and 4. But otherwise, we've seen elevation on pretty much every hole. But you give me your initial reaction.
Yeah, nice putt.
As he saves the par. And then start thinking about that as we head into the back 9. I've got giveaways, of course. Trevor's going to need to get something going here if he wants to keep Shasta in his sights at least. And Shasta parked for birdie, looking to go 8 under on the front 9. We saw what he can do with just a couple of discs when he was playing last weekend at Samui, and looks like things are moving along swiftly for him right now. And that's pretty much everything from the front 9. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. I appreciate the heck out of you guys, and even more so, the entire Chiang Mai disc golf community, along with the rest of the Thailand disc golf community. Shasta's out in front. They're trying to keep him in check. It's going to be hard to catch him if he keeps playing like this. There's your top 8 at the moment. Thanks for joining. Click on the little button. We'll see you in the back 9.